Hi, welcome to my doll customizing journey. My name is Josephine and these are my creatures. If you have read the title of this video, you will know already who is up next. It's Bonnie, of course. For Bonnie's base, I decided to work with a Jackson Jekyll doll. I will have at least 3 male dolls on my collection and I don't want to use a same base doll for any of them. So Jackson felt like a good fit for Bonnie. The prepping is the same as always, off with the hair, off with the face and then off to the kitchen. We need to boil some water for his vinyl head. This is to make it easier to remove. And while we are in the kitchen, let's make a cup of cocoa so that we can enjoy a nice beverage when we work. The neck peg got bent while I was taking his head off, so I might as well cut this part off. By the way, who else likes to watch Mia Maples? She is kind of my guilty pleasure because her content is so shallow, but so entertaining, and she is such a sweet person. Jackson has quite a jawline and I want my Bonnie to be a little bit softer looking, so I'm taming his jawline ever so slightly. I would recommend getting a Dremel tool if you want to invest in some nice tools for your customizing, but it's not a must. You can totally do this with sandpaper. To make him look like he is younger than my Foxy doll, I'm also removing a chunk from his legs. I'm gonna replace this part with wires and hot glue. The hot glue is going to be more of a decorative material. For structural purposes, I use 2-part epoxy glue. I add a bunch of wires and quite a bit of hot glue to add a nasty looking texture. I paint the hot glue parts black with acrylic paint. I want Bonnie to have a short hairstyle, so I opted for yarn this time. I don't actually like working with yarn, I think it's quite a lot of extra work and it's not very long. But because I want his hair to be short, it doesn't matter. I start by cutting the yarn and looping it around this paint brush. Then I brush it out with this pet brush. I would recommend finding a brush that does not have these protective plastic tips. I feel like the tips are pulling and tugging on the yarn, which is causing it to break. But this brush has one nice feature that I really like. It's this mechanism that pushes the fluff out of the bristles. Very handy indeed. I straighten the fibers with my flat iron. They did not end up as smooth and flat as I had hoped for. Maybe it's the yarn. I can't remember if it is 100% acrylic or maybe it has a little bit of wool in it. I'm trying to combat the texture with fabric softener. A tip I learned from Jacky's videos, I will link her down below. But the fabric softener did absolutely nothing to the texture. But the wefts do smell horrible now, so that is something. It didn't help that the fabric softener just dissolved the glue on the wefts, so I had to carefully re-glue the wefts back together. And I know it would have been wiser to do the fabric softener before the glue. Hindsight. Well, the hair is on now and I'm giving it a little trim here and there. I do kind of like how the hairstyle accidentally started looking like emo hair, so I kind of kept it. I finally got some more MSC after running dangerously low for weeks. The face up is pretty simple, nothing different here. I start with pastels first and then move on to pencils. I like to work with the body simultaneously so that I can spray both of them at the same time. After the first spray, I keep working on the eyebrows. I changed the shape and placement of them a few times, but this is the shape I ended up going for. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications, so you will be notified of my videos. YouTube is also removing the poll feature from videos, so in the future I will be asking my followers to vote on stuff on my community tab. To make your shadows stand out, try adding a highlight right next to them. I want the lips to look very subtle, so I layer pastels and pencil. The pencil is only used to create the lines in the lips. In the game, Bonnie has red eyes, but all of my other dolls have natural eye colors, so I first add a layer of red and then tone it down with 3 different shades of brown. I think the effect is nice and you can see a little bit of that red peeking through. I finish the face up with eye shines. Then it's the final protective layer of Mr. SuperClear. Always remember to wear a mask and gloves and spray outside. I replaced his old piercing with a piece of a silver colored wire. Let me tell ya, making the clothes was quite a struggle. But here is a picture of what I want to make. I used an old pattern for pants as a base for the shorts, and for the shirt I decided late at night to just wing a pattern for it. You will later see why this was a poor decision. I started with the shorts first. I had my sewing machine finally fixed and this was the first project that I tackled. My machine is very old, so sewing tiny clothing with her is a struggle, but I still wanted to give it a go. The machine is actually older than myself. Any guesses what year my sewing machine is from? The comment that gets the closest will be pinned to the top. I also made these very cute socks to pair with the shorts. Well, the shorts turned out okay, kind of low rise and slightly too baggy at the waist, but I can fix that with the snap closure. The shirt, in the other hand, is awful. It's way too tight at the arms, at the chest, way too short, and the back is just hideous. So I decided to cut it off completely because I spent good 15 minutes squeezing the doll into it. The fitting issues had everything to do with the pattern that I just winged, so I'm making a new one. I ended up not filming much of the process because I was so angry at myself for wasting time on the first one. Bunny has long bunny ears, so wire is needed to make sure they don't break. I have already placed the other side of the magnet inside the head. To protect the face up and hair from the clay, I used kitchen wrap. I use air dry clay to sculpt the mask. This is because it's lightweight. I also made this ukulele from clay, but it turned out really bad and I decided to scrap it. After the mask is completely dry, I can go ahead and sand it. This is great because it gives me a chance to define the details even more. I was hurrying to finish this project, so for the teeth I opted for craft foam instead of magic sculpt because that needs time to dry. 2-part epoxy glue is nice and strong to secure the magnets and the teeth in place. I also use it to fill in some of the cracks on the mask. I custom mixed the paints while referencing Bonnie's picture on my phone. I paint the mask with acrylic paint. As a little detail, I'm painting a very thin red line in his eyes. This is to connect the colors from his outfit and to further enhance his real eye color. Everything gets sealed with a piece of fabric. his head gets reunited with his body. The mask turned out still too heavy despite using air dry clay, so I added a second magnet. It's very cleverly hidden in his hair. Next one in this series will be Freddy himself. I think I'm gonna work on something else before I tackle him, just because I feel like I need a break, and he will be a male repaint, and I have done quite a lot of male dolls recently. There is even my first male repaint that you have not even seen yet, so do subscribe and turn on notifications to not miss out. After taking all the final photos, I realized I had completely forgotten that his bow needs to be red, so I'm fixing that right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet done that, and tap the bell while you're at it. Like this video and leave a comment. I would love to know what you think of my Barney. Until next time, bye!